Recently, the New World Order's own little special personal chess piece, Greta Thunberg. It's a chess piece that's a troll. Imagine a chess piece set with a troll. That's Greta Thunberg. This young woman propagates from the river to the sea. She propagates genocide while she has young people with signs that say from the river to the sea, which is calling for the death of a whole country, calling for the death of all of, by the way, the Bible says God's people, the Israelites, which are the Jews. The Jews are the Israelites. They are God's people. They have shown the one true God to the world. Makes me think that Greta Thunberg has been on the wrong side of every issue, because who is she serving? Jesus said you can only serve one of two masters, and if you serve one, you shall despise that of the other. Hello? Greta Thunberg despises everything that's holy and decent and anything that's pure and honest and good. She is evil, and I don't care how old she is. She has done incredible harm to young people everywhere, but she's not going to talk about Cuba because I know about Cuba. I still have family in Cuba, and my father came from Cuba. And let me tell you something. Cuba has not been allowed to live like normal human beings that have lived around the world and taken part in everything around the world because of communism, because of evil. Cuba has been used. She said Cuba's been there for the world, but the fact is that Cuba has been used as a stopping point, as a little station, if you will, for drugs to go into South America. The amount of drugs and the amount of drug lords that have grown exponentially in South America has been since Castro took over in Cuba. Castro was an evil dictator. You can call him communist, call him Nazi. He was more like Hitler anyway. And it's astounding how people who are calling other people Nazis are the ones acting and supporting people who are truly acting like Nazis. Take God away. Take away the gun so that when you come to take the house, the kids in the car, they can't fight. They don't have anything to fight back with. Oh yeah, indoctrinate the children in the schools, and with a Greta Thunberg troll, a little chess piece. This has all been a plan. This is all the long plan. But I know one thing. I know what Cuba's been through. And I know a woman who's one of 3 kids. I mean, we're talking kids. We're talking 15, 16. The oldest one had to be 17. He was one of the kids, one of the people lined up and fusilado, shot dead, because they could fight against the regime of Castro, the communist regime, while Castro and Che Guevara, both an attorney and a doctor who made good money, sat there and used the ignorant people. And then the ones who weren't ignorant and the ones who are willing to fight back, they murdered. They might as well have been doing, a genocide. How do you talk about the environment while you've got people with smoke bomb things and, every time you see the terrorists and every time they pull out their little PLO white and black scarf because they're honoring the father of terrorism, because they're proving they are a wannabe little terrorist, because that's what Arafat was. Arafat was the first one, the PLO that I remember of, at least, and I was pretty young when that happened, so I'm not going to date myself, but I remember seeing with my mother at an airport where women and children and men, innocent people, including Americans, not mostly Americans, but including Americans, they targeted this airport and they targeted innocent men, women, and children. The blood was everywhere. We weren't as desensitized. as you are now, as people are now. We were not desensitized, but because the terrorists have just kept doing their terrorism. Oh, it's all about me. Gotta find an excuse to go kill innocent men, women, and children. Oh, let's see. Mondami's wife, oh yeah, she posted about October 7th, the murders of innocent men, women, and children. Mondami's wife, the love of his life, of course, is a monster, just like he is. They're monsters. And they're trying to destroy New York because 9/11 was not enough. 9/11 didn't finish off New York. And shame on the idiocracy of people in New York to vote that man in for their agendas. Sex and the City. And you know who you are, actress from Sex and the City. You were just voting for him because you hate America and you hate Christianity and you hate anything that tells you that anything you do is wrong. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, let's talk about, she called for the Economic World Forum to panic. This was 2023. She said the world was going to be done. Yes. So just so you know, we're still here, and gee, sometimes it's pretty darn cold, isn't it? But again, how can we stand and let a hypocrite, a terrible, terrible hypocrite of a minion to sit there and rant and lie to our young people, to the world's young people, who evidently their parents taught them nothing. Evidently, the school system failed them because, going back to Arafat, his great uncle worked with Hitler. Yes, Arafat, the leader of the PLO, the father of terrorism, his great uncle worked under Hitler. He was in charge of one of the most brutal concentration camps. So I want you to remember that when you see the little white and black scarves and they're acting like they care about humanity or anything that's good, and they're criticizing Israel and Jerusalem and people who, by the way, were attacked brutally, and innocent children. I'm not even going to go into what was done to innocent children and women and hostages. But anyway, did you ever hear her say anything about those people? If I know one thing, if you can sit there and claim Christianity, and I'm sure she doesn't, but if you can sit there and claim decency, I care about humanity. I care about humanity. Well, if you're going to sit there and say that, but you don't care about women suffering in Iran, you don't care about how women have suffered in Cuba, little girls that have to sell themselves for food, little girls who have been human trafficked in Cuba, little girls who had to sell themselves, and by the way, were human trafficked by Castro and Castro's government many times, politicians who went over to Cuba, very friendly politicians with Cuba. Matter of fact, a lot of the politicians from the Democratic Party were very close to Cuba's communist dictator, Maxine Waters. She called for Cuba to not extradite Assata Shakur. Who is Assata Shakur? She was on the most wanted list. Who took her off the most wanted list? Why isn't she there anymore? Well, it was Hussein Obama, the pro-terrorist, let's go ahead and give Iran billions of American dollars. Also insane that if you were to try to write this stuff, it would be hard to write and think this maniacally, because it's maniacal, but it is the long run thinking. Hussein Obama gives American dollars to Iran, knowing that they're going to enrich and get nuclear bombs and other bombs, because they have had an arsenal. This little crap country, this third world country, who brutalizes women, who brutalizes children, who lets little girls be sold into human trafficking, which is called marriages, by the time they're 8 years old, 7 years old, 9 years old, and they're cutting and mutilating them. She also didn't mention, while she was calling POTUS, our president, a pedophiliac, don't you know? Now, she has no proof of it, and that's never been seen. But the funny thing is how the left and those serving the lies can pick on our president while not mentioning the Clintons or mentioning anyone else who was on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Come on, man. Let's all do the auto pen guy. Come on, man. This is ridiculous. This is all asinine. Greta Thunberg has no validity because she is nothing but a brainless, using, sociopathic troll. She's using people, she's lying, she's slandering, and it doesn't matter, does it? Nobody says anything about this except, well, maybe, let's see, we love Sky News and we love lefties losing it. And that's what she's the equivalency of. But when you see somebody calling for panic, it's the devil. The devil puts in fear. The devil likes to put in fear. I really believe that in the garden, the devil didn't just say, oh, you will be like God if you eat this fruit. I am pretty sure that he probably made Adam and Eve feel like they were in danger if they didn't eat that fruit. They could not defend themselves against God if they didn't eat that fruit. Think about it for 2 minutes. How many people are told that somebody who's really good and really wants to love them is evil? And they're told this by evil people manipulating and instigating so that they don't get the love and the support they need. That's when they go on drugs. That's when they run away from home. That's when all these horrible things happen. Always find out if what you're being told by someone who's telling you to fear or panic is really the truth. Go to the source. Ask God. Pray about it. Pray about it. These are evil times we're living in, and Greta Thunberg is one of the most evil minions that the devil is using. And this is one thing I know, that we have to pray for Cuba. We have to pray for women and children around the world who suffer more than anyone under these regimes, who have suffered and been used worse than anything and anyone with these horrible terrorists and regimes. Terrorists, when you see that white and black little scarf, that's what they're proclaiming. And remember, his bloodline was serving Hitler way before he was even born. Better every day in every way, keeping our eyes on God, keeping our eyes on what's the truth, the life, and the way of Jesus Christ. I need you to pray with me for Cuba to finally be released from the horrors that it's been under for decades, not years, decades, since Kennedy, since they were enslaved, since they were put in chains. And Greta Thunberg doesn't want those chains taken off. Funny how Reagan wanted to help protect normal decency and civilization. She wants to talk about colonial, the West. That's why we have hospitals. That's why we have fire trucks. That's why we have fire stations. That's why we have colleges and universities that now sell out everything that's decent for money and for an agenda. We have to stay awake. We have to remember to say the rosary if you know how to do it. If not, I recommend learning it. And we have to remember to be in prayer, because God will be revealing truth in every realm, and we keep praying for that. Remember this, Greta Thunberg, she's going back to ashes. She's just a little minion being used. Remember to see what's behind her is the real enemy. We, as people who came from Cuba, legally, by the way, and did everything that we were supposed to do. Everybody who would come to the United States did it legally. They did everything that had to be done to come here. And people still trying to do things right and proper and legal should feel very insulted and very taken back by the Democrats and their willingness to even want to let illegals vote in our elections. It's disgusting because they would rather take over this country through idiocracy, lies, and stealing. By the way, the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy, which is what Castro did in Cuba. He came in, he stole the country, then he killed. This is what we need to remember. Truth above all things. Come back and see us again, please. 57 tulips here for you.